This is my updated guide to complete the Terminus main quest in Black Ops 6 Zombies. From my best loadout and augment setup, to my favorite strategies and skipping steps altogether, let's get started. First things first, just like any game of Terminus, we will need to start turning on the power generators. And while we're doing that, I'm going to recommend you use the AS valve. I know there are other weapons that are stronger, like the Maelstrom and the Strider with the 3-round burst, but the AS valve is a wall weapon, and it's a base weapon too, so there's no DLC required. You don't need to go into the armory to unlock anything to use it, and the base version of the AS valve with no attachments is also fairly good. When it comes to opening up the map, there really is no preference. You are going to go to the same area no matter what. I just always try to take full advantage of all of the set dressing zombies, and there are secret like bonus points here and there that you can take advantage of. For example, that free 100 points. You just want to make sure that they don't destroy these generators, and you can get free 100 points under Jug, and just continue on opening up the map like normal. Now, as we're progressing through rounds here and doing this Easter egg, you may notice that hold up, I forgot to tell you, there is a shovel right here that you can pick up, and I use it to dig up these dig sites for extra salvage. But as I was gonna say, if you notice that you're on a different round than I currently am, and you're really trying to do this to the letter of what I'm doing, I really wouldn't worry too much about that. A lot of the time, especially with classic zombie Easter egg guides, they'll tell you to have this done by this round, this done by that round, and that might be beneficial for some people, but I know before I really started doing Easter eggs, that kind of stressed me out. So if you're not exactly on round 5 by the time you turn on this power and you're on round 6 or 7, don't stress it. Take things at your own pace and remember to have fun while you're doing it. But now that we've turned on power, we have a couple different objectives that I have in mind. First thing first, I want to collect as much salvage as I can because I want to upgrade my weapon's rarity, but more importantly, we need some salvage so that way we can equip Deadwire. That's the real first step of this Easter egg. So I'm gonna get my weapon rarity first, and then we'll get Deadwire. We're a couple pieces of salvage away, not too bad. And I do also like pack-a-punching before I start this quest. It just makes your gun feel a little bit easier to use. If you are using the AS valve, the downside of it might be that it doesn't have that much ammo and you might run out a little bit. So I will assure you that I would almost say every single weapon is going to perform fairly well against Patient 13 and this boss fight. So again, don't stress too much about it. This map was balanced before Double Tap came out, and with Double Tap, it's pretty strong now. Or the boss is pretty weak, I should say. But now that we have 5,000 points, we're going to pack-a-punch the AS Val. Take a moment, appreciate the Pack-a-Punch camo, that is essential to this Easter egg, and we will go get Deadwire. Just like that. And now we need 500 points to start our inclined lift and to actually start our Easter egg. Because we need to look for 5 little power switches. They actually look like those. Those are the ones we're looking for. And we're gonna need to shoot them with our Deadwire weapon. The first one is in this window right here. The electricity will shoot into that box, and then to that box happens pretty fast, so you can keep trying it if you missed it, or if you're a little slow, that's okay. Going on into here, there's the next box, and then just outside here, it will go and open this door. Once the lights turn on, we will need to kill this zombie, unfortunately, and pick up this fob. Now we can take this fob all the way over here to the other side, and I guess I probably should have opened up this side of the map first, but that's okay. Inside of this beautiful room, there will be a briefcase that once we open and pick up this resonator, we will have a whole bunch of vermin spawn in, so just be careful. But if you manage to activate Deadwire, they will all die. They're pretty weak, not too bad, but it's a fun little trap to be mindful of. And now what I always do is I jump down here, and we need to activate the computer terminals, the first of which being right here. We are getting these numbers associated with those shapes because we're about to do some math, and don't you worry, I will hopefully teach you enough math to do this. The next one is going to be up top here. I like to go back the way I came, going through this area. I'm assuming you kind of have a good general map layout. So right up here outside of the stamina up area, there's our second computer, and then if we jump down and go across here to the other side of the map up these stairs, just over here is the third and final computer. And now we could do some math. So each of those computers has a shape and a letter associated with it, and this is some pretty basic math. So you'll notice on the left-hand side, we have the shapes here as well as the letters. So for example, X is this black dot and this white dot in this configuration. So that's going to be this symbol. And the way you need to think about it is that these numbers on the left-hand side, these vertical numbers, are the tens place. So 0, 10, and 20. And then these numbers horizontally are the ones place. So 2, 1, and 0. So with this symbol, this is actually 1 and 1, so that's 11. So we're going to take 11, and since it's X, we're going to replace X with 11, so 2 times 11 is 22, plus 11 is 33. So our first number, you can see number 1 right there, our first number is 33. So now with our Z is this symbol, so that symbol corresponds to 21. So 2Z, so 21 times 2 would be 42, plus Y, so 42 plus Y is this symbol. So 42 plus 22 is 64. So 64 minus 5 is 59. We have Y again. So Y is 22. So we have 22 plus Z again, which is 21. So 22 plus 21 is 43 minus X, which is 11. 43 minus 11 is 32. And hopefully that should be correct. And it is. Now you can also during this step go all the way up here and talk to Dr. Peck in the spawn room. If we open up these doors and if we talk to Dr. Peck right here, he will actually give you the answer to that math equation, but it'll cost you 5,000 points. There's an Easter egg to get those points back, but I don't feel like covering that in this video. Now, once you've done the correct math, we are going to need to wait till round 9 for that to be activated and interactable, of course. So you just want to spend some time shooting some zombies, getting the most amount of points that you can. If you get a Lucky Sam trial that's near you, you can do that for some extra salvage, potentially a free perk. I would recommend Jug by this point in time, and if you have enough points to upgrade your weapon to blue rarity, then you could do that too, which I'm gonna do now too. And there we go, on round 9 we get a little quote where we can pick up this resonator and we can go do this Beamsmasher quest now. You can absolutely get tier 2 armor or Deadshot. That's something that I did a lot when I was first learning this step, but I'm gonna try to go without it this time. And so we can head down to this boat and go over to this island. I believe this is Castle Rock Island. We should be able to see a blue orb. That's what we're looking for, because we can interact with it and drop our multiphasic resonator right there. Get the boat out of the way. And we are waiting for this thing to do just that to a zombie. And so what we need to do is we need to kill this zombie and it'll drop this sort of charge. We interact with it and pick it up and bring it back to this orb, and we need to do that twice per island. Now, it can take some time for the orb to shoot a zombie and infect it with that thing, so what I always like to do is I always like to look for these boxes because they will have some bonus salvage in them. There's a couple per island, so it's good to keep an eye out, but especially if this thing gets really intense, if you're on a later round or on an island that you find more difficult, instead of picking up the orb that they drop, if they drop the orb next to this thing and you kill them, it will auto-complete. So that's a really fun little pro tip that I like to do. And of course, don't forget to pick up the resonator once you're done. I can't tell you how many times I've forgotten to do that. It is not good. But I'm gonna check this other chest. I've heard and seen after round 10, those rewards start getting really good. But now let's just head on to the next island. And the next island is gonna be just over this way. It's gonna be Crab Island. Man, this map is beautiful. Again, looking for these boxes. I always like to open them for any sort of essence or salvage, and we can go ahead and interact with this, put down our resonator, and start this process again. With each island, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. On this island, we're going to get a lot of parasites, so what I can do sometimes is I can lure this guy in really close to that. Oh, I don't think that was close enough. We can pop that in right there. Don't be afraid to run away from this thing. If you need to go and bail out of any of these corners, that's fine. I just like to pay attention to these parasites and kill them whenever I can. And if you do that, then you can get this guy in a nice little group like so, and then we can kill him close to this, and there we go, that completed it. We can pick this up, I'm gonna get some more ammo, and now we have my first pro tip of the video, and that's gonna be if you have a piece of equipment, there is a crab cage right there that we can knock down and initiate one of my favorite Easter eggs. This is Whack-A-Crab. There are certain sections of these crabs around this island that if you melee, you can play a little crab mini game. It's called Whack-A-Crab, at least I call it Whack-A-Crab. Each one of these spots gives you the same reward every game if you perform well enough at Whack-A-Crab. This first one that is directly next to the area where we threw down broke down the crab cage, this one always gets you a free perk. Now, for me, this usually always gets me jug, so we'll see if that's the case here. Oh, cool, free stamina. So that's just saved us on some points. If we move over here, this one, I believe, gets us salvage or points, one of the two. Now, you don't have to do this, but if you're looking to get ahead with some points, salvage, or an extra perk, this is a great way of doing so, and it's really fun. You're playing whack-a-mole with crabs. It's so silly. And so this one is some salvage, but if we go back to the other edge of this island, all the way over here, towards this left side, there's another one right here. There's this one that gives you a free weapon. I don't really do that one ever. I'm fine with my weapon. It's this one that will give us our extra points. And how many points is that? Wow, that's like 3,000 points right there. We must have done really good. But like I said, that is an optional extra. You don't need to do that, but that's when I like to do it since we're already out here doing the main quest. So now the third island we go to is past the boat, and it's right there. Of course, I like to look around for any sort of dig sites or crates. We should be okay. Oh, there's a dig site right there. Anything good? Some armor plates, it's whatever. Let's go ahead and get this started. Oh, we do have a box right there. Let's open that up. And there's an ammo mod. Okay, not bad. Now this one is going to step it up even further because now when it activates on somebody, that might have been one, it leaves a damaging area of effect. And on such a tiny island, you do have to be very careful about it. I still like focusing on the parasites, and let's go ahead and pick that up right there since we got a clear little thing there, and that was too. So there you go. Some pretty good tips. Let's pick up this munition now. I love that you can kill them inside of the orb and it counts. That was really game changing for me. And now we've got a ton of points almost ready for Pack-a-Punch tier 2, and it's only round 10. And now, oh my goodness, this guy. Yeah, we gotta watch out for this guy. That's actually one of my least favorite things about this map. You don't have much time in the water before that tentacle comes out and yells at you. But now to build this Beam Smasher, it is kind of sketchy. This is like a really fast spawn area for a lot of enemies, so just be careful. We're on a bug round, so I think I'm gonna be able to do this pretty well. But as you can see, there are all the bugs, and if you're doing that mid-round with zombies, I would highly recommend not doing that. Either use an ether shroud or a decoy or something to get yourself some time. But now that we have the Beam Smasher, we are looking for something in particular, and it just so happens to be right here. This ID indicates that this trap is the trap we need to do, as well as the fact that it's broken. There are 3 potential traps this could be, but the one that you're supposed to use is always the broken one before you even use it. If you use another trap first, then it'll break, which is why I tell you to look for the key card, because the key card is the one that you want to activate. So I'm going to show you how to do it first. We're going to activate this trap, and then we're going to use the Beam Smasher to shoot that to get a hard drive, and we can pick that up. Now, don't worry, I'll show you the other spots, but with this hard drive, oh no, okay, if you get sucked up there, then use your pistol to shoot the trap, you should be good. But with that hard drive, we will go up here to Dr. Peck, back in the spawn room, right here, and we will give him the hard drive. That is going to unlock the mid-Easter egg boss fight, but we need a code, and the code is going to be 3 numbers, the first of which being the hour hand here. You can hopefully see that is 3, so it's 3 o'clock, so that would be 3 as our first number. Our next number is just down here in the meal room, the kitchen, the dining room, whatever, and it's on this bulletin board, and that's it's the playing card number 7. These numbers are different every game, so you're going to have a different clock time, you're going to have a different card, and this number is also going to be different over here because that is our last number, 8. Again, all of those numbers will change, but for us in this example, it is 3, 7, 8. Sweet. So now we can, well, I'm gonna pack-a-punch my gun first, and then I'm gonna jump down here, and I'll swim to safety while opening up this box, see if it's got anything good, okay? Because now we can interact with this main chamber and get a peek at Maya's brother, Nathan. We will get some audio clips, we will get some dialogue, and then we're gonna be able to interact with this keypad and put in 378 as our number to unlock Nathan. Now this is a boss fight, and I would highly recommend getting purple rarity, epic rarity, Pack-a-Punch 2. So if you don't have that, like we don't, we're gonna push a couple rounds. Now, if the key card that we got to start this whole process isn't where it was for us, this vent and this trap in the PhD room, as well as over here where we came from, the Speed Cola area, and this trap are other two options where that key card could be for the hard drive. And also to prepare for this boss fight, I will go into this area. I'm gonna check out, look for any dig sites, just for any extra salvage. Sometimes I get some free perks. I do want to get PhD, and I would recommend PhD with Tribologist for this boss fight. I think that helps out quite a bit, giving you some room to work with. And we're almost enough salvage. Okay, we've got epic rarity. Let's keep doing our dig sites, and we can upgrade this now. And if you haven't got it yet, I would recommend tier 2 armor. So I'm gonna go grab that real quick. Like I said, if you're not doing this on round 14 exactly like me, don't stress too much. You should still be fine. Oh wow, we got a free mutant injection from a mangler. How lucky is that? Oh, and a double points, nice. So we got really lucky with that double points and that mutant injection. Don't worry, I'm not gonna use it, but I am gonna get Speed Cola because I just like reloading really fast and plating really fast. But once you're Pack-a-Punch 2 epic rarity, PhD, and at least Jug, you are going to need to interact with these release valves, and every player in your match is going to need to interact with it at the same time. So good luck doing this in a public match, and I would recommend keeping Deadwire for this fight because this is an HVT amalgam, and amalgams are weak to Deadwire, so we're going to be able to deal 50% extra damage if we have Deadwire. Now, if you get lucky with a perk or you want to buy Elemental Pop before this fight, that will buff that elemental damage to 75% damage with Vulnerabine, with that Vulnerabine augment. But just like that, AS Val double Pack-a-Punch epic rarity, no double tap. Very simple, very straightforward. If you're having trouble, I always like to PhD slide forward over long stretches of this area and then take him out. I'll slide a little bit more, shoot him a little bit, slide a little bit more, especially in this area. Slide, slide, shoot him until he gets relatively close. Not too close though, and then I'll slide around, and then get a little bit of distance from him. But now we actually get to, well, actually 2 skips back to back, because now what we have to do, and this is always something that you should do first, after the cutscene, you will spawn right here. So all you need to do is jump down, and we just need to collect this key card. Very simple. But what the game wants us to do now, and if you play the directed mode, it's what it does. It wants us to go to some random computer near Stamina. I've never done that. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think I've ever done that. I don't remember watching any guides that even said to do that. Instead, we're just gonna go right away to this lockdown sequence, and you need to make sure you have at least 1 shock charge for this, because we're going to be able to skip this lockdown sequence entirely. Once we get here, we will get some parasites that I like to get rid of, and then open up these loot chests. Let's go. What is that? That is a refined crystal, so that's a tier 2 Pack-a-Punch. So, oh, I should have done that with my Beamsmasher. Oh well. I'm telling you, opening up those boxes really good, but as soon as we pick up this node connector, this is going to lock down, and normally you'd have to fight some zombies, but if you throw a shock charge right there, it just ends it entirely. Really cool. With the node connector, we're not able to run, so we have to be careful of how we maneuver. Now, there are 3 places these node connectors could go, the first of which being right here on the island, but that is taken up and connected already, so we don't need to. Oh, this guy, I hate this guy. Treyarch, you need to extend him a little bit. There's an Easter egg step. These Easter egg steps are hard to do with that guy, but the next node connector is found right here. And what we can do, and what I'm hopefully going to show you, is that we can kill all of these zombies, and we can have a free reign to just connect this and repair this, so you don't have to worry all that much. It's not like there's this unlimited spawning zombies there that'll stop you. But once you've done that, you can go back and get the other node connector. This is going to be pretty risky with the gas chasing us here, but hopefully we can pull it off. This gas is more of a mental stress than an actual real threat, but let's jump on the ladder, go get our second node connector. Our boat is right there, so hopefully we can do some fast maneuvering before it destroys our boat. If you drive fast enough, the gas cloud can't catch up to you. And if you're lucky, you do get both of these node connector spots. That's really fast. Unfortunately, we're going to need to go to the third and final one, which is near Speed Cola. So what I like to do is I like to go up the zip line and then go over here. Where did my node connector go? I don't think I actually picked it up. How did I drop it right here? That's so crazy. Okay, anyway, advanced stats, advanced walkthrough, everybody. I like to come up this zip line and then I will just jump over this railing because this gets us right to this cave. And if you haven't killed all of the zombies, they will give you a little bit of a surprise over here. But if you have killed all the zombies, you don't need to do all that much. But there is sometimes some more, apparently. So I like to Ether Shroud. This is a good place to Ether Shroud. It's really not that big of a deal though if you want to kill those zombies. I'm just somehow out of ammo. Luckily we're on a max ammo round and we should be good now. And congratulations, you are on like the second to last step of this Easter egg. So what I like to do for the next step, we're going to be doing the hacker step. I like buying 2 smoke grenades. Believe me, these smoke grenades, if you haven't seen what to do with them, I'm about to blow your mind. There is a long bit of dialogue with the SAM and our set crew and Dr. Peck and everything. But once that's done, we can make our way back to the spawn area. Taking this elevator is a great way to traverse. And once we go to this area, we'll get some more dialogue we'll need to wait for because they are going to give us a hacking device. Now, again, in co-op, whoever picks up the hacking device has to do this step. So just make sure they're responsible. But with 2 smoke grenades and at least 1 Ether Shroud, we can start hacking these buoys. So I like to grab a new boat because we are going to get attacked by some parasites, and the first buoy is just over here. Now there is some subtle nuance to this. I like to line up with the buoy and then I look down at that base of it, and that usually gets me to interact with it pretty well. And now after this buoy, I like to go this direction. As I approach this one, I'll line it up. Usually I can't kill all of the parasites, and there is a possibility that they can destroy your boat, so just be careful. Usually I try to destroy one, but once I'm started hacking, I look at the boat, so as soon as that enter tactical raft icon pops up, that's how I know the hacking sequence is complete, and I can just click that and we'll be safe. There is a timer for this, but it's incredibly generous. It's really just a psychological effect of putting a timer on here, but nevertheless, it does stress you out, so it can be pretty stressful. So we're gonna look down at this, look down at our boat, hack the signal, and then we're good. And that's 343. And now I would highly encourage you from this buoy, make your way really quickly into the main Pack-a-Punch room. And I like to do that by going this direction and turning into this cave opening, because now we need to defuse 3 warheads or 3 nukes or some devices. And you could do this with either Ether Shroud or Mr. Peaks, but we're gonna do it with a combination of Ether Shroud and smoke grenades. So arming self-destruct, the door opens and then this thing is going to rise. You'll get a little bit of zombies here, so I like to kill a couple of them. And then once this is up, I will Ether Shroud and then start diffusing. Now this Ether Shroud is not going to last for the entire diffuse time, but it should be enough to where the zombies have run away that I can just barely get it out and then PhD slide and then kill some zombies that I should be relatively okay. For our next one, I like to throw a smoke grenade in the corner of these guys, stand close to it where that smoke grenade came from, and believe it or not, your eyes do not deceive you, those smoke grenades work at concealing you. This is major, and the smoke grenades, as you saw, do conceal you for the entire duration. Now, if you're solo, you can stop diffusing and it will save your spot for a decent amount of time. So you can just run between all these 3, diffuse each one of them little bit by little bit. But like I said, I love using the smoke grenades and 1 Ether Shroud, and now we are done with the Easter egg. If you were a maniac, you could absolutely go straight into the boss fight right now. But I would highly recommend you don't do that. I would recommend you get completely and fully set up. And while I do that, let's talk about what augments we should be running. Now, one of the most important augments I want you to equip is double standard for double tap, and I also like double time. Next, having Vulnerbean is going to help us during the boss fight since it is weak to some elemental damage. PhD Slider and more importantly Tribologist for PhD are probably the most crutch augments in all of Black Ops 6 Zombies. For Juggernog, I personally love Probiotic and Hardened Plates, and for Ether Shroud, at least have an extra charge, and then you can use either Group Shroud or Burst Dash, it doesn't matter too much. And most of the other augments are personal preference. Now in terms of everything else, I usually recommend every perk except Melee Macchiato. You can get it if you want to, it's not that big of a deal. I would recommend switching your ammo mod from Deadwire to Napalm Burst. That is a personal preference, but I feel like Patient 13 is pretty weak to Napalm Burst fairly frequently. In terms of equipment, if you have the salvage, some Casimirs are good, but I also love running shock charges. Your lethal equipment doesn't matter, and I would recommend Ether Shroud. Of course, triple Pack-a-Punch, legendary weapon, and triple armor is gonna be the way to go. And if you are struggling with this boss fight in terms of a kill streak, the Chopper Gunner is a great way to be safe and deal a lot of damage. And this is your final reminder, if you are not on round 26, if you're on round 28, 30, 31, 32, don't worry, going at your own pace is just fine. Now I would recommend turning around before you go into the boss fight, so that way if you do go down and you struggle, or you want to test out different strategies, you can save and quit, and then you can retry the boss fight later. But now here is Patient 13, and here is why I recommend Napalm Burst. This first phase, he's weak to Napalm Burst, and if we get going, we can deal a lot of damage to him. You'll notice if we hit his weak point, we're only dealing 1800 damage, but if we hit a body shot, we're dealing like 3000 damage. That is because of double standard from double tap. Fighting Patient 13 is fairly simple. He has this basic attack in his first phase where he just slams the ground. Going back and forth between here is a great way to stay alive. Getting enemies inside of this kind of slam attack area will kill them. And this is also why I highly recommend Tribologist, because you can slide really quickly out of this area and into safety. This is something that you're gonna see me do throughout this fight. It's very, very game changing. But let's head on over to the second phase. As I mentioned, this boss fight was made before double tap was a thing, and it doesn't seem to be balanced anymore, which is, you know, it's fine. Now after each phase, there will be like a 30-second, 45-second, or a minute time where you're just fighting zombies. Once this little intermediate time is over, you will get a free max ammo. So if you're running low on ammo, don't worry too much. You still have your Beamsmasher, which I didn't pack a punch, but it is still very effective even on round 27, as you can see here. You can also go out to this area and be just fine. You'll notice these tentacles throwing some gas at you. You can kill these and destroy them. Unfortunately, they do come back, so there's really not much point in doing so. Yes, zombies will destroy these boxes, and here is Patient 13, and if you're lucky, you can get a little bit more damage into him before he switches his weakness. You'll notice he's got this tough outer shell now. He's only weak to that middle section, but, and I believe this is true first phase too, if we keep wandering around the arena, we can force him to leave and then show up somewhere else. So if we go over to this side, after he's done with his attack, he will then jump on down, or duck down eventually here. Come on, Mr. Patient 13, there you go. And then he'll pop up wherever you're at. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, you need to take care of some zombies first. Don't be afraid to just run around and make him go down. Now, in this form, he's very, very immune to a lot of damage, except for his mouth being his weak point. So what you could do is you could just go around and you see his little mouth right there. You can kind of just pick him off just like that. But what I'm gonna do, if you're confident enough, is just stay towards this area, just like phase 1, and then get out of his way. Let him kill all of the zombies there, slide back in, deal as much damage as you can. There we go. That's not the next phase, because his next little weak point is going to be his tentacles, and you'll notice he's completely immune everywhere else. Now, a lot of other people I see love running Deadwire here because if you run Deadwire, you can shoot him everywhere else. And those tentacles, those glowing yellow points, are really good if you have Deadwire, that you'll deal extra damage. But this is just one phase. It is kind of the most annoying phase if you ask me, especially if you can't aim very well like me. But sometimes I just like hanging out in this corner. I'll go around, and I do like going back and forth because he will wipe out zombies just like that. So it is kind of nice. And there's one tentacle destroyed, then we'll come over here. There's that tentacle destroyed. We'll keep an eye out for any other phases where we can deal some extra damage to him just like that. We'll get him going, and there is phase 2 complete. Hopefully you guys are with me so far. This is not that complicated, but I will say, if it's your first time, it gets really overwhelming, so don't be afraid to pause a little bit. You can save and quit if you need to. If you went down, used a self-revive, it's perfectly okay. After the second phase, you are gonna have to deal with an amalgam, and shock charges are fantastic for amalgams, or we could do some beam smasher to slow them down, weaken them, and then use your regular gun to just take care of them. I am running low on ammo, but with Vulture Aid we should be okay, and with all of these drops we should be alright too. We have tons of points. If you need to buy ammo, that's fine. There's an ammo crate right there. Ooh, another Casimir, sweet. Well, actually, let's throw a Casimir since we've got that one. Let's slow down the amalgam so he's weak, and then we can shoot him just like that. Really good. That double standard is huge. And there's a max ammo. Here is phase 3. Now phase 3 has a very unique phase. I'm going to show you here. He is blue and his eyes are the weak spot here. And what you want to do is you want to take out those eyes. And once he does this, oh, I guess that's not what he does. There you go. He does a wipe attack eventually, maybe. There we go. He does this wipe attack with that little orb over there unless you destroy his eyes. So there you go. You've destroyed his eyes. This is a great phase to do your chopper gunner because your chopper gunner is going to be really safe. But that attack, that little orb attack that he does, his charging attack, this one right here, I'm actually going to go ahead and throw this Casimir here because I want to show you. This will one hit down you. In fact, I'll show you here. Boom, there you go. I've got a dying wish. So it's not good. You don't want to be caught in the middle of that, but you deal some extra damage. He'll go to this weak spot where he's weak to napalm burst again. And with how much damage everything does, you should be perfectly fine. But that is how I defeat Patient 13 every time, as easy as possible on Terminus. After the entire year of Black Ops 6, these are the most developed strategies that I have. I'm sure it's not the most efficient, but I wanted to get an updated guide because that first one I made is rather outdated. And if you want to complete more Easter eggs, be sure to check out these guides and stay beautiful.